This programme contains flashing images.
So it's the Thursday drivers press conference from Abu Dhabi, and joining us today we have Fernando Alonso from Ferrari, Jenson Button from McLaren, Lewis Hamilton from Mercedes, Nico Hülkenberg from Force India, Nico Rosberg from Mercedes, and Sebastian Vettel from Red Bull. We'll start with the two title contenders who've just done a handshake. Lewis, you're guaranteed the title on Sunday if you finish in the top two, something that you've done for the last 6 races. It's your 4th final day title showdown. How are you feeling before this duel in the desert?
Yeah, I think generally feels quite cool to be here. Obviously, it's nice to. The weather's great. The track's fantastic. It's a beautiful place. So, yeah, I'm excited for the weekend.
And Nico, it's your first final day title showdown. How much confidence are you carrying into this weekend from the way you performed last time out in Brazil?
Yeah, of course, it was. It's great coming into this weekend, the way Brazil went, for sure, yes, and that I was able to progress after Austin. That gives me a lot of confidence going into this weekend, yeah, definitely.
And Lewis, back to you. You've had obviously 2 poles and a win here. You obviously were retired twice while leading. Does the fact that the showdown is happening at a track where you have a strong record, does that make any difference?
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's positives with it. It's a great circuit. It's generally suited the car that I had when I was back in McLaren years ago, and it's definitely a track that's had suited my driver style in the past. But every year is different, and I hope to take that positivity into this weekend.
Okay, and back to you, Nico. You qualified ahead of Lewis here last year and have done so overall in this 2014 season. How much satisfaction are you derived from that?
Well, at the moment, I'm not really thinking about that. You know, at the moment, I'm focused on trying to win this race. But of course, yes, knowing that helps and gives me a good opportunity this weekend. Knowing, qualifying form has been really good, so that should be another plus going into this race here.
Okay, thank you very much. Fernando, coming to you. It's been announced today that you're leaving Ferrari after 5 seasons. Tell us why and your thoughts on those 5 years with the team.
Yeah, obviously, it's a new chapter in my career, and yeah, I think I felt it was the time to find new projects, new motivation, and it was not easy decision to make, and I was in talks even last year, to be honest, and we wait for this year for the new car, the new turbo era, etc. And this year, I felt around summertime, September, that it was time to move, and yeah, I take the decision. Only time will tell if it's a good one or bad one, but what is for sure that has been an amazing experience. So happy, so proud to have those 5 years with an amazing team, amazing brand like Ferrari, and yeah, I grew up as a driver, as a person, and only good feelings and good words. Obviously, we missed the championship, came 3 times second, but extremely proud of those second places and the work that we did those years. And yeah, now it's time to close one door, to open a new one, and we see how it goes.
In terms of opening that new door, McLaren said it will announce its drivers on December the 1st. How much bearing does the test next week with Honda, with McLaren, have on what you do next?
0.
Okay. Moving on to Sebastian then. In many ways, the destinies of you, Fernando and Jensen have all been interlinked in the last few weeks and months. You've signed to replace him on a 3-year deal. How are you feeling about that, and why is this the right move for you now?
I think it felt like the right time. I think it's not an easy decision to make. Obviously, I've been with Red Bull for more or less my entire life, since I'm 12 years old. I've been supported by them, and obviously have a very, very strong link to all the people in Austria. Later on, obviously had the opportunity to race for both of their Formula 1 teams, which we couldn't see coming once I was starting and part of the Red Bull Junior team. But in terms of timing, obviously worked out brilliantly, and the success we've had in Formula 1, especially with Red Bull Racing over the last 4 years, I think has been an incredible journey. But I think at some stage you feel that you want to take on a new challenge and do something different. I think I don't have to mention the history of Ferrari in the sport, and it's probably the greatest team to drive for. So I'm very excited and very motivated, obviously, to try and do my best, put my heart in it, and obviously be successful. That's the target.
You're a 3-time winner of this race here in Abu Dhabi and the outgoing world champion. Next year you'll hand your number 1 plate to either Lewis or Nico. What's your commentary on the title battle that those two have fought throughout this year?
Well, I think Mercedes made it very boring this year, so I think it's good to see that they were battling very closely. They had great races, battling for the lead, which is obviously the most interesting position, I think, in the race for the people to watch. Remembering races like Bahrain, I think they put a great show for the fans, and obviously took it to the last race. So I think both of them deserve to win after such a great season. But I'm sure if you ask every one of them, they'll give you plenty of reasons why each one is deserving more than the other.
Okay, thank you. Coming to you, Jensen, as we said, your destiny has been linked to the two gentlemen to your right and their moves. What's your feeling now on the way things are panning out?
Nothing has changed for me for the last 2 months. So I got nothing else to add. Apart from I go into this weekend looking forward to it. I've learned to live in the moment a lot more this year. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I've got my family here this weekend, so looking forward to the weekend, and hopefully we can have a good result.
It's worth noting you've had the 3rd longest career in Formula 1 history. How do you look back on it at this point?
At this point, it's everything I set out to achieve. I think when you're a kid, you dream about getting to Formula 1, and then your next dream is to win a race and then win the World Championship. So I've achieved all 3 of those. Is that enough for a driver? Every driver is different, but I love racing, and that's why, as I said, living in the moment is key right now, not thinking about the future too much. And hopefully we can have some good fights this weekend.
Okay, thank you for that. And coming to you, Nico, you've scored points in the first 10 Grand Prix this year, but only 4 in the last 8 races, 4 times. What's been going on there?
The second half wasn't as flawless and as smooth as the first half, I'm afraid. And on top of that, also, we seem to be a lot more competitive initially in the year. We've slipped back a bit in terms of development, and Formula 1 is a fast-living business, and if you don't put the upgrades on the car, you get overtaken, and I think that's what happened to us.
There's a lot of focus, obviously, on the midfield teams at the moment. From a driver's point of view, what's your take on the situation of Force India, Sauber and Lotus?
In terms of what?
Just the sustainability, the future, the outlook.
Well, obviously we're here. We're fighting for points, and obviously the target is to beat McLaren in the Constructors' Championship, which is very ambitious. They're quite far ahead now. We'll give our best as every weekend and give it all and see if we can do it. Otherwise, everything's okay.
Okay, right, let's throw it open to the floor. Who has a question for these gentlemen, please? Who's got the first question, please, Pat? Yep. Name and publication, please.
Frédéric Ferrer, l'équipe. Question to Fernando and Sebastian. You used to have a last Grand Prix pressure to deal with the title. Can you explain how do you feel at that point and how you dealt with it during the race?
Fernando?
Well, I think every situation is different. I've been a couple of times, 5 times in that situation, and all 5 were different. Depends of if you are in front, behind, with who you are battling, and with which mood you arrive to the race. Depends of the circuit. Depends of anything, And remember Brazil, for example, 2012. It was rainy on Sunday morning. There are different factors around the race itself that it can change your approach, or you can change your feelings. So, I think it's a very unique thing on those moments, and will be interesting weekend for Nico, for Luis. Wishing them the best of luck, because they deserve after a super championship, and only one can win, but let's see a good race on Sunday.
And Sebastian?
Well, I think it's what you're working for all year, to arrive at the last race and still have the opportunity to become world champion. I think that's ultimately what drives all of us. So I think the most important thing is you enjoy.
Okay, who has the next question, please? Name and publication.
This is Ralph Bach, Sportbild. It's for Luis. Luis, first question is, did you make any practice to handle the pressure you have? Everybody expects that you will win the title, so you're the guy, you have to lose anything. Second is it your turn to take it easy and just become second on Sunday, or will you demonstrate the whole world that you will win the title with a victory here?
To the second question, I come into the weekend to try and win, as I do every race weekend, so nothing changes there. And in terms of the pressure, I don't particularly feel any. I think, I've had plenty of experience through my racing career over the whole 15 odd years, I would say. Actually, it might be 20 years of racing, yeah. So, to be prepared for today. So, there's no special recipe for it.
Okay, who's got the next question, please? Name and publication, please.
Flavio Netti, Corriere della Sera, to Fernando. Having the possibility to change something in your relationship, in your history with Ferrari, what would you do?
I don't know really. I enjoy the experience, as I said before, and I feel very privileged of what we achieve and what I lived those years. The group of people that I work with, it was amazing. I learned so many things in those 5 years. I'm not the same driver of 2009 when I arrived. I think I'm more prepared now. I'm better in all the aspects of the driving skills, and I think it was a very, very important step in my career. Obviously, you need to feel the moment when it's time to move. As I said, I felt it was time for me to find new things. I expressed my wish to the team in September. They understand. They were very helpful on that, because obviously I had 2 more years contract, but they understand my position. They listen, and I think it's the best for both parts, and now hopefully we can battle for better positions and for wins in the future.
Okay, who's got the next one, please? Name and publication, please.
Yeah, Jerome Pugmire, Associated Press. Question for Nico Rosberg. Yeah, Nico, Lewis says he's not feeling under any particular pressure coming into the race. What is your mindset? Are you feeling under any pressure?
Well, it's an intense weekend for sure. Yes, I wouldn't use the word pressure, but it's going to be intense. It's going to be a great battle. I look forward to it. You know, that's what I've been working towards for a while now. For this sort of chance now, this last race here, and yeah, Lewis is a great competitor. You know, an opponent, and it will be hopefully a great end to the season. You know, and of course. I'm here to try and win the race, and then I need a bit of help from Lewis to that he doesn't finish second. That's it. So, yeah, I'm hoping Lewis can come up with something.
Okay, who's got the next one, please? Name and publication, please. Yes.
Thomas Maher, FormulaSpy.com, and a question for Sebastian. Sebastian, assuming the decision to leave Red Bull was a difficult one to make, could the team have made any guarantees or promises to you that would have changed your mind and convinced you to stay for 2015?
Look, I have a very, very, very good relationship with not just the team, with the whole Red Bull family, and you know, despite the contractual situation here and there, positions in the championship, I think. Yeah, you know, as I said, the relationship is far too good. And once, I don't know, we have a saying in German, which I cannot really translate into English. But, you know, obviously my wish was to leave. And I think it's not a good thing, good advice to stop people, you know, when they want to leave and force them to stay or make them stay or trying to convince them. Because ultimately they wanted to leave. Yeah, and as I said, obviously it has been a very difficult decision for me to make, because it was not a decision against the team, against Red Bull, but a decision for my new future. So for sure, those things, you know, big decisions are not easy, but ultimately you need to listen to yourself, listen to your heart, and go with that.
Okay, who's got the next question, please? Name and publication.
Thank you very much. David Croft, Sky Sports F1. Thank you to each of our panellists today. Been a brilliant season. Thoroughly enjoyed it. But Fernando, if we could just turn to you. What was the catalyst for your decision to leave Ferrari? What was that moment that you realised? What was the reason behind it that led up to quite a momentous decision?
It was not, you know, a special moment of the year that I opened the eyes. As I said last year, I had some doubts about 2014. I knew that it was a big change of regulations, so I thought that it was the best thing to check how the 2014 new turbo era was going for Ferrari. And then, I had a very close relationship with President Montezemolo. We talk every week, and we more or less agree that if this year we were not competitive again, maybe I could think on other options. And when I arrived summer break, I said maybe it's time to sit with President and say if for them it's okay, I would like to go. And as I said, I need to thank so much Ferrari, because they could say no, but they understand that it was the best for the two parts, and this is again a true sign of respect and love for this team, and they show me also respect on that. And as I said, I stopped as a Ferrari driver, but from Monday I'm a Ferrari supporter.
Okay, who's got the next question for us, please? Yeah, give us your name and publication.
Can you hear me? Yeah, Jensen. Jensen, are you prepared to wait for McLaren to make their decision? Do you want to stay in Formula 1 before anything else, or will there come a point where you want to take the decision out of their hands?
It's been an interesting few months. When you're in Formula 1 for so many years, 15 years, you have blinkers on in terms of anything else apart from Formula 1. You know, this is the best sport in the world. This is your life. This is everything. But when you are put in an uncomfortable situation, obviously your eyes are opened to other possibilities. And there are a lot of challenges out there, whether it's in motorsport, whether it's in other sport or something else altogether. So I'm open to many things in life. And for me, I love what I do for a living. I love racing in Formula 1, and the time I've spent with McLaren has been great. You know, the last 2 years have been a bit tricky in terms of results, but in terms of the personnel, they're, you know, mega. You know, we had a barbecue last night, and there's such a good atmosphere in this team. It is like a big family, so I've loved working with them. And will I wait for the decision? That's something I can't comment on right now.
Okay, next question, please.
Luis Fernando Ramos from Racing Magazine. A question to Nico Rosberg. If you win, you need somebody to be second ahead of Lewis to be world champion. In the past 6 races, no car could get close to the Mercedes. Are you confident that in Abu Dhabi it might be different? There might be a team that can challenge Mercedes, or you know you need an abnormal race in order to have this result?
Well, of course, a lot of things can happen, you know, but it can happen as easy as Williams, for example, having a great start and slotting in between us two, and this track is one of the most difficult to overtake. We're looking at that this morning, that the speed difference that you need to have to overtake the guy in front is really very big at this track, and so that would be one opportunity, for example, you know. But there's many scenarios, and so as I say, you know, I'm optimistic.
Okay, next one, please.
Daniel Johnson, the Daily Telegraph. Nico, you mentioned that really, unless a Williams gets involved, perhaps, you need Lewis to make a mistake. Is there anything you can do to try and help that happen?
Yeah, of course. I need to do what I can to try and put the pressure on. And I mean, in Brazil, Lewis made a mistake, you know. So there is a chance, and I need to do what I can to keep going like that.
Okay, next one, please.
Livio Rique from globalsport.com. To Fernando. Fernando, when you talk to the Ferrari bosses in the September that it would be better to the team for you to leave the company, did you have already another option in your hand? And if you had, we believe that you should trust in it because you are leaving the team, Ferrari team, because probably the perspective of results won't be in a short time. And this new option you have in your hand, do you believe in it?
Well, it's the thing is a little bit longer than what I explained. You know, we tried to see what was the best possibility. In fact, it was renewing the contract possibility also in the first couple of months of the year to extend the contract until 2019. So it was a little bit of things going on during the year, but then you know, when you are inside, when you see things, when you see you know, how the things are moving, which direction are moving things for the future, maybe you agree or maybe you don't agree, and probably I didn't agree so much, and in September I said that maybe it was the best thing to say bye-bye if it was possible. And if I had something in September, no. I had that decision. You know, I have to be happy. I have to be motivated. I need to love what I'm doing. And in September, I felt that it was not the case. And then after that, I start to look some possibilities. And I'm happy. I'm trust what I will have. Yes.
Okay.
I'm Haranzo from F1 Express. 2 questions, one for Jensen, one for Fernando. The first one for Jensen, would a good race result for you change anything? in terms of the future? Because you had a good string of results recently, and the question to Fernando would be, you spent the whole 2010 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix behind the Vitaly Petrov. If one of the championship contenders tomorrow need to overtake, do you have any suggestion for them?
Jensen?
Personally, I would hope not. I would hope that a result this weekend would not change my fate for the future. I feel that I bring a lot more to a team than just one race, and would hope that my career would speak a lot louder than one individual race.
Fernando?
Well, not really. I didn't succeed, so try not to repeat what we did that race. That will be the best solution for them. But I think in these days there are many tools that we can play. You know, with the electric motor, with the DRS, things that probably could help in a situation like that. But yeah, the best thing is not to stop behind anyone.
Okay, who's got the next one, please?
Heikki Kulta, Turun Sanomat. Sebastian, how do you see the cooperation with Kimi? Is it easier for you than with anybody else?
Yes. I think he probably replies the same if you ask him. Yeah. That's what he told me just before. No. I think yes. Why? Because I think Kimi is probably the least complicated driver in the grid. So in terms of performance on the track, I think when we talk about the skills Kimi has, I don't think there is a single person in the paddock who doubts his skills, including myself. But from a personal point of view, on a personal level, I think very straightforward. I don't expect any complications because I think we have a good relationship, but more so I think we have great respect for each other, which I think is always very healthy to deal with any sorts of situations coming up.
Okay, let's next question.
Quite another question. Gentlemen, a short view back to the past. 30 years ago, Niki Lauda told us, take a monkey, place him into the cockpit, and he is able to drive the car. 30 years later, Sebastian told us, I had to start my car like a computer. It's very complicated. And Nico Rosberg said he pressed during the race, I don't remember what race, the wrong button on the wheel. Question for you two both. Is Formula 1 driving today too complicated with 20 and more buttons on the wheel? Are you too much under effort, under pressure? What are your wishes for the future concerning the technical program during the race? Less buttons, more, or less and more communication with your engineers?
Can I ask you who that question is to? Who do you want to answer it? Who's it to?
He said it's
oh, sorry.
for
Beg your
Nico
pardon.
and myself. So
Sorry.
you didn't listen. Can you repeat the question? Yeah, I remember the question. I think it depends all on how the monkey these days grows up. So I think it's a different generation of monkeys that Niki was talking about compared to probably the monkeys we have today. But yeah, I think obviously there's a lot of buttons on the steering wheel, probably too many. But I think for us, we grow up like that. It's a different generation. I think if you put a modern phone in Niki's hands, I'm not sure he knows what to do. Sorry, Niki, but yeah, I think it's what you get used to. So for sure. When I started, for example, in Formula 1, there was a lot of procedures I had to learn, a lot of buttons I needed to know how to control, etc. But it's part of nowadays cars. I think if you jump into a normal road car, there's also plenty of buttons, but in the end, the most important bit is the steering wheel, turning the car left and right, and the accelerator at the bottom. So I think the basics haven't changed, and that's the important thing, that the sport remains as it has been many years ago, despite how many buttons you have on the steering wheel or not.
Nico?
A bit shorter. So I think we need to just make sure that the sport stays simple for the fans. No, that's the most important thing. The direction, it's all great. Technology, fantastic. Hybrid power, buttons, everything. That's all great. But we need to make sure, I think, for the fans, that it stays simple enough. And that's something for the medium-term future that we need to keep an eye on. And that's it.
Okay, let's move on. Next question.
Daniel Johnson from the Telegraph again. Question for Lewis. There's been points this year, I think it's fair to say, that you haven't felt that the fight between you and Nico has been a totally clean fight. Are you confident that it will be this weekend?
Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. It's how it's been. You have to go into the race weekends believing it's going to be the case, yeah.
Is there anything you can do to make sure it will be?
Don't think so.
Okay, next question, please.
Hi. Is that on?
Mm-hmm.
John McAvoy, Daily Mail. To Lewis, will you speak together before the race to ensure that it's there's no argy-bargy out there?
No.
You don't need to, or you have an understanding already?
You don't need to. It's already been discussed at the beginning of the season and several times through the season, and particularly after Spa. So there's no need to revisit it. We're not children. We should know what is wrong and what is right.
Nico, do you have anything to add? Do you have anything to add?
No, just that, yes, Lewis can do something to keep it clean, which is drive cleanly himself. So it's not like he can't do anything.
Okay. Next question, please.
Thank you. Abhishek Takle from Midday. Question to both Lewis and Nico. I think it was 14 years ago that you all fought for the championship in go-karting. How does the dynamic change when you're fighting for a Formula 1 World Championship? How's it changed for the two of you all? Because obviously the stakes are a lot higher. Thank you.
Yeah, it's quite amazing to think now that 15 years later we're actually in that position which we used to dream about, to be in the best F1 team, fighting for the championship, fighting for race wins. So it's really amazing. And of course now it's more intense. There's more surrounding it, more everything. That's the best way to put it.
Lewis?
I generally feel it's quite similar to back in the karting days. At that age, it was as intense that I had experienced, and I wanted to win back then, and nothing's changed. So.
Okay. Any more? Yes.
Harenzo, F1 Express. A question for Lewis. Do you have any family with you this weekend? Because generally you perform better, you smile a lot more when you have family around. That's just a personal observation, but I just want to know, does the whole family come to Abu Dhabi for this important weekend?
I have a couple of friends and I think one or two cousins that are in the grandstands, and I've got a close friend that's with me in the paddock, but otherwise don't have any other family here.
Okay. Do you have any more questions? Any more? Yes.
Cristóbal Rosaleni, Car and Driver. Fernando, I've just seen you are wearing a new helmet this Grand Prix. Could you tell us what is its meaning?
Yeah, I wear a helmet with a picture of the pit stop of this year on one side, the Italian flag in the middle, and the signature of everybody in the team on the other side. I just told them this morning that last time that I will jump in a Ferrari, I want to to bring all of them with me, because they were a part of this fantastic experience, and I want to do my last race with them on the track. To be honest, has been a little bit of tweaks, because on Sochi I take all the signatures from everybody, but when I arrive here we miss 20 or 25, so now the helmet is not as perfect as it should be, with all the 25 signatures now everywhere, but yeah, I'm happy and proud of them, and happy to wear them on my head.
Okay. Next one, please. Name publication.
Yeah, Jerome Pugmire, Associated Press. Question for Sebastian Vettel. Sebastian, how emotional will do you think your first race for Ferrari will be, considering how much of an idol Michael was for you? How emotional will the race for you be, the first race for Ferrari, considering how much of an idol and friend Michael Schumacher has been for you?
Yeah, I think it will be special for sure. Obviously, it's a childhood dream, you know, when I was growing up myself, but a lot of kids at the go-kart tracks in Germany, you know, Michael was our hero, and at that time, obviously, he was still with Benetton, but when we grew up, obviously, he was still part of us, and you know, he moved to Ferrari, took a massive challenge on back then in '96, and got very close the years before, but made it happen in 2000, and yeah, since then I think you know, every link that you have, or every yeah, when you think back, is always you know, Michael in the red car. So I think it will be a very special journey, and I'm very much looking forward to it. Not, to be honest with you, not only the first race, even the first time in winter testing to step into the car, I think will be very special, and will be something that you know, remains with you for probably the rest of your life. So I'm very much looking forward to it. How it feels, I don't know yet, but I'm very keen to find out.
Okay. Any more?
Frédéric Fer, l'équipe. Question to Fernando. If you have the possibility to choose your teammate for next year, would you choose Jensen?
Okay, you can take your time. Yes, earlier.
Yeah.
Didn't he say yes earlier?
I think he might have said that, something like that, yeah.
When we came in, he said
yes.
I don't know where I will be, so we'll see.
Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen. Good luck this weekend in the Grand Prix. Full transcript of the press conference available at www.fia.com. Tomorrow, the team principals press conference.
Enjoy Sky Sports F1 Live on all screens, on the go, and the best bits on demand.